Hello everyone, today we're going to look at the 3D inspection tool inside of Trimble Realworks version 11. So a quick little bit of a background, in the scan project here you can see we did 6 scans in total of 2 stairwells. So these little triangles actually show you the location of where the scanner was placed out in the field. So if we double click in it, it'll take you to the scan location, and again we want to kind of get inside the stairwells where we also carried out 2 scans, one here in my current location. We can start to see and inspect the stairwell visually within the point cloud. So the other thing that you want to do before you bring in your 3D model to do the 3D inspection is to georeference your point cloud. So if you look back in some of the other training videos that I created, it'll go through the georeferencing process to get all the point clouds on the same coordinate system as your CAD model or Revit model. So once we have our point clouds referenced, we can jump into Navisworks, for example, and here's just the 2 actual models of the 2 stairwells. So what we can actually do now is I like to break it up into a couple of different sections, as in I'm not just going to upload one big massive project. It's a little bit of overkill. It is good practice to bring in the areas that are of interest. So if we had the rest of the building here, for example, with all the steel, all the rooms, etc., that's something that I want to remove from the model. I don't want to leave those into the model when I bring them into Realworks, because one, I'm just bogging down Realworks. I'm adding more information than what I need. It's going to take longer to process because it's going to look and compare the point cloud to other objects in there. So really just focus on your key structure that you're trying to I suppose analyze. If it's the steel, I don't care about the concrete walls. I'm going to remove the concrete walls from here, and a very quick way to do this in Navisworks is to hit the select, and I can do either by select a box and isolate a physical stairwell, if there's multiple ones, and I can hit hide, and now it's just showing you this one. We can just unhide them all again, and we can also, if we right click, we can also pick by certain resolution. So if I want to pick by layer, I can pick, let me switch it to the select one instead of the box. I can actually select it via layers, and now I can turn on and on objects very quickly in the field if it is broken into multiple layers. So again, for example, if I had all the horizontal steel, and if I had it on the select layer, it should highlight all the steel in that layer, helping me to analyze and clean up the point cloud. Again, you will go through the same process in Revit or in CAD to isolate your objects of interest. So once we have it, once we have our area, I suppose, designed, or the area we want to be brought into Realworks for the analysis, we can now export it out. So the nice thing with Navisworks, what it gives you the ability to upload very large models, in contrast to Revit or CAD, where large models can be a little bit cumbersome at times. Navisworks is very easy to work with and fast flowing. So again, it's breaking down your model into those manageable areas. You can bring in DWGs into Trimble Realworks. If you are going to bring in a DWG or DXF, be sure that it's small areas like this, not very large areas, again because it will slow down Trimble Realworks. So what I would recommend the file type to be brought into Trimble Realworks is an FBX file. It works a lot more efficiently in comparison to a DWG. So for us to export out an FBX, it's very simple. We can highlight our area. So I can come over here to select the box, highlight the area like so. I'm going to hit the big N, hit export and FBX. Again, you can leave pretty much everything here as the same. Again, we just want to make sure our units are the same as what we have in Trimble Realworks. I'm in inches, so I'm going to export out in inches, and then I'm just going to hit OK, and I'm going to navigate to a folder I created, and I'm going to call this Core 3. Again, I just have one from a previous example. I hit export, and that's pretty much it. So once I've got it export, I'm just going to jump right back over to Trimble Realworks. I'm going to go back out to the bird's eye view. And before we kind of, bring these models in, again, I like to kind of clean up my point cloud. I don't want to bring in a 3D model of the stairwell here and have it run an analysis on the building over here, because it's going to compare a heat map to how close a 3D object is to it. So obviously I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up around the point cloud. So I can come in here into my parallel view, do a quick top down view like so. So now I can actually see the stairwell, and I can do my segmentation tool, grab my rectangle cut and hit the in button, and now I have a nice clean point cloud that I can run the analysis on. So once I hit the little download button, I'm going to have a new core here. I've done it already, so I'm going to hit cancel on this one. And I'm going to turn off our main cloud, and I'm going to turn on our core that I cleaned up a little bit earlier on. And you can see we have the second one as well on the background, which actually has the rest of the point cloud in it. So once I've got my core cleaned up, now I can import my FBX. I'm just going to navigate to my file. Here's my core 3. Make sure inches, hit OK. So a couple of things to look at here. When we actually bring it in, it's going to bring in each of the individual segments that we have inside of Navisworks. So and what I mean by that is each of these, if I just go here to the 3D rotation tool, each of these has a separate plane. So if I come over here, you can see, I'm on the layer. Let me select by geometry and clean that again. So you can see how each of these are broken out. So essentially what we're getting is we're getting all of these separate meshes that are coming from Navisworks into Realworks, and it actually gives us a little bit of an advantage in a way. So if I just go back up again to my root folder and just turn off the point cloud for a quick example, if I just select one, and if I hit Control A on my keyboard, I can select them all and I can turn them on like so. So now here are the two cores. Again, you can see it's in a wireframe. I'm actually just going to go to View, and we can switch it here to a solid model. And you can also hit the smooth mesh feature as well too. It can add some texture and so on, so we can actually see the embeds. And again, you see if I turn it off and turn it on, you can start to manipulate it around like that. And you might actually have you might come to a scenario where it might be difficult to turn off certain objects in Navisworks, or it might be difficult to isolate certain objects in Navisworks, and that's not the end of the world. You can very easily get rid of them once you have them in Trimble Realworks. So for example here, we've got this other stairwell here. Obviously I only have one point cloud that I want to compare the core to, because I brought these on the same layer. So what we can do under the home tab, we've got this rectangle selection or polygon selection. I'm actually going to get rid of this core here. So if I hold down on the control key, I can now draw a rectangle around it and highlight all those individual objects. And then this might come in handy because I might have, we say, a building that has other walls and surfaces that are around it. Again, I don't really want to focus on them. I can very easily come in, rectangle around them, highlight them in my drop down list window here, and just delete them. So I'm just going to hit the delete keyboard, or delete on my keyboard. It says, do you want to delete those elements? I said yes. And now you can see we're just working with our one element. And the last thing that I like to do, you don't have to do it, but you can see here this is broken into multiple objects. I like to work with one object. So again, I can just click on one. If I do Control A, select them all, and if I come under our model tab and I can hit merge mesh, and what that's going to do now, it's going to give me one object that I can turn on and off, which is helpful. So I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and I'm going to paste this actually into my main work plane here, or workspace. And if I just go back into here, and probably I can turn it off so I don't have two of them. And once I actually have it copied over here, like so, I can even get rid of this folder so it doesn't keep on adding it onto my list window here. So I can get rid of it. Select it, hit delete, and now it's gone. And I can actually rename this. So if I select it and click on it a second time, I'll call it model core, and that's pretty much it. I can go back to my 3D view inspection. So once I've got that turned on, I can now select my point cloud, and we can see how well the point cloud fits the actual core to begin with. And if I jump to the inspection tool now, so if I select our point cloud and I select our 3D model, and now I'm going to go to our 3D inspection. I'm just going to widen the pane over here. So we've got our display surface, which is our red, and we've got our comparison in the point cloud. And I can hit preview, and if I come back in a couple of minutes, you can see it's going to do a quick analysis on the point cloud and give me a heat map to show me the overall results. So once our analysis is done, you can see how the point cloud is colorized. So a couple of things to begin with. If I turn on the display reference, I have other objects in my inspection that are actually a lot further away from the point cloud. So what we can actually do is we can create a filter that if it's too far from the point cloud, it will not I suppose take into account into the results. So if I have deviations on my model here on the wall where I actually have point cloud information, I can filter that information. So instead of 20 inches, I'm going to filter my range down to, say for example, maybe 3 inches, give or take. And then if I just click on the box here again, it'll actually reprocess my point cloud, and now you'll see the cloud will change in color. And now this is what I'm looking for. This is giving me the true model to model comparison of the point cloud in here. And if I turn off the display reference and actually look at the point cloud, I can actually see we actually have quite a deviation in the inside of this stairwell here, getting up into the red section, which is a little bit alarming. So if this range is good for you, you can actually hit create. And what it's going to do, it's going to create a new cloud down here called inspection, and we can dive into that in a little more detail right now. So once I have my cores turned off, or my the 3D model and the original core turned off, here's our new point cloud. So we're still in true color, so we just want to jump to our cloud color, and then this will give us our heat map, and we can make our pixels a little bit bigger, bump them up to the next size. So from here now we can even turn on our 3D model, and we can even grab our view cube, which is pretty powerful. So you can see up here where we have some area of red, and I can just come straight up and do a quick slice to see what's actually happening right here, like so. And let me grab the axis toolbar to push this up to where we have this area of red. And we go to a parallel view so we can see the true view. And if I start to zoom in, and we can hide the, we can hide this. Let me go to my top view again. There you go, I was hiding. So here's where you can see the deviation coming from the point cloud. So if we kind of zoom in here, you can see blue fits a lot better. Red is showing you where you're having those deviations coming from our 3D model. And again, we can, if we actually select the inspection cloud here, we have this little inspection analyzer. It'll actually bring up the legend that we had with that heat map. And again, this is where it's going to show you those colors where it relates. And let's turn on our model again, and we can see in a lot more detail. So if we wanted to look at that section where we had that high area of red, I'm going to probably just jump into the point cloud very quickly. And if I turn off the 3D model, if I rotate around, here is this area that we need to check out. And it's going to drop our view cube change it here to our push-pull. And now if I do a quick left view, ooh, sorry, probably going to be back or front. I do zoom extent. You can see now here is where that deviation is coming through, and I can pull this the entire way down like so. And pull it up. And again, if we wanted to turn on our 3D model, sorry, we can see our 3D model right here. Sometimes it's dependent on how far or how in line you get with it, it kind of disappears. You could try, it's under our model tab, or is it view? Or you could switch it to hidden lines, it'll show you as well too. So we can actually see the line where the point cloud is. Again, red means it deviates away. When you start to get into the blues, you can see how much closer it is to the 3D model. So this is a very quick, efficient way to analyze what the point cloud is doing. Again, you see this deviation pretty clear here. And we can even take some quick dimensions from here as well too. So I'm going to switch it back into a solid. And if I grab the measurement ruler over here, you've got this plane fitting tool. So I'm going to pick a point on the point cloud, so it fits a plane best to that group of points, and we can just go snap it straight to the actual 3D model. So you can see we're about 3 inches, kind of getting close up to this really dark red color, and we can hit the little download key, and then we could even do from the point cloud at this side, so you can see how well it fits, to over here. And again, we can hit the little download, and we can probably come over to a point cloud where we have a lot of blue, where it probably should be its true dimension, and I can pick a best fit again to those group of points, and then snap it horizontally to the other and hit download. And if I go to our back again, so now you can kind of start to see what those measurements are. So we're about up to 3 inches away from the 3D model, as you can see here if I rotate it slightly, and then as we kind of scroll up, you can see where the true width should be. So that is an overview of the 3D inspection tool inside of Trimble Realworks. It's a very powerful tool to get you very quick results, to see what's actually happening out on the job site. Thanks for watching. Bye.